Hi, everyone. Claudia McMullen here, founder of Hugo Coffee's Roaster and Hugo's Human, as you all know. We partner every week, and now it's every week, with a specific animal rescue organization around the country. And today we're here with one of our all time faves, which is Ruff Haven, which is also local and located down in Salt Lake City. And we're here with the lovely Stan and Kimo from Ruff Haven. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
Doing very well.
Good. And so good
Fantastic.
to see you, Claudia.
Yeah.
You too. So now remind the Hugo fan base, because I know your fan base is super active and passionate, but remind the Hugo fan base about what it is Ruff Haven does.
Yeah. So Ruff Haven Crisis Sheltering is a nonprofit organization, like you said, based in Utah. And really, our mission is to try to keep pets with their families, even through extreme crisis situations. And so the main program that we have at Ruff Haven is an emergency pet sheltering program, which means that we're able to temporarily take care of a pet for usually up to 60 days.
Mhm.
If a family has some kind of crisis, which could include anything from housing insecurity, domestic violence, hospitalization, anything that might pose a threat to that family and to the pet and people bond. So we will take in that pet temporarily to allow the family to get their resources, get back up on their feet, and then reunify them together after that crisis is over.
That is so, as you know, I know you know how much I love what you do. I just so love what you do because I don't think that people realize that when people with pets, beloved pets, go through a rough go, and there's a situation where they might not be able to afford to take care of their pet, or they might be homeless, or any number of things can happen. There are no temporary facilities like yours. There are none. So the people in crisis often have no choice but to relinquish their beloved pet to a rescue for rehoming. And that is not in the best interest of the pet or in the best interest of the family. So what you do is, you know how much, I mean, I could start crying. I love it so much.
Stop it.
But honestly, and I think people who know Hugo Coffee and know me probably know that this is particularly important to me because when I ran Friends of Animals, I started, which is now Nuzzles, I started the Purple Paw Project for people, domestic violence victims, because domestic violence shelters don't take the pets of the victims.
Right.
And because the abuser will often use harm to the pet to keep the victim in the home, and the victim doesn't have anywhere to turn because, like I said, domestic violence shelters don't take the pets. But the Purple Paw Project, we did, and now you're expanding that concept for homelessness, for hospitalization, and I just can't thank you enough for everything you do. But now let's go and talk about the exciting news that happened last year, because we haven't talked, like my fans haven't talked, we haven't talked to you since fall of 21. And lots of big things have happened in your world since the fall of 21. So tell everybody what really awesome thing happened last year at the legislature. Thanks
Well,
to you guys in part.
thank you so much. This is so awesome. We were able to bring forward HB 175, a bill that was passed in April into law, which is called Safe Pets, Safe People. And what that does is when someone is in a domestic violence situation, as you mentioned, the abuser will use the animal to keep them there, maybe to harm them. This will put the pet into a protective order. So the pet will be protected. So it's just like a criminal act. If they tried to do something, they could be incarcerated, go to jail, pay a fine, whatnot. And this is huge because it's any pet that you consider your pet. It's not just a cat or a dog.
It could be a horse. It could be a goat. It could be a pig.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's amazing. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, we get kind of emotional about it because it's so huge that that we now in our state have this so people can take advantage of it, so that they can now know that we can take care, we will foster or board their pet so they can get out of a situation if that's what they need to, and we can help them to be able to get, reunited with their pet, and they won't be hurt.
Now, do you guys take more than cats and dogs?
Right now, we take only cats and dogs, but there is a caveat. We have encountered every now and then a more exotic pet, and we have found a way to take care of that pet. It's not typical, but we have taken care of, for example, a ferret before, when none of us knew how to even care for a ferret. So I guess it's fair to say that we'll try the best that we can.
And there are other organizations that will help with larger animals like a horse or a goat or that in Utah that can help in these types of situations.
That's what I was going to ask. I knew that there were such organizations, and I also know, and for people listening, which you may or may not realize, the world of animal rescue and sanctuary is a very close-knit community. So, and it's interconnected, and it's interdependent, and it's mutually supportive, so that when people like you guys at Ruff Haven, when you do find a pet that might not fall within your purview, there are places that you can turn, because this community is so tight-knit.
Yeah, partnering to us is so important. I mean, we came from a background of volunteering with a number of different organizations and creating really good relationships. And we have leveraged those relationships to, number one, educate and make the community aware of our services. And we're able to partner really closely for some agencies and other organizations who really need the kind of help and services that we provide.
That's wonderful. Now, I wanted to ask, so I know your stay is up to 60 days. And what happens after 60 days?
It's actually up to 90 days. So
okay.
It's that's the caveat. 90 days, and then we take it as a case-by-case situation.
I figured.
There are certain situations which we have partnered with the Odyssey House, where if it goes over 90 days, and a lot of people won't go into rehab situations to be able, because it's usually 6 months. Well, we partner with them that they will help supplement us if it goes over the 90 days to help us with cost that we need, so that we will be able to continue to take care of that pet so that person can finish their rehabilitation. So
that's fantastic. I had a feeling that's what you guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knowing you two, I know there's no way you're out at 60 days. If somebody has a need, or 90 days, out of here. If somebody has a need, I know that they could come to you and tell you what's going on and come up with a solution for the problem.
Yeah, I think that we have to be really sensitive to the fact that because we're dealing with crisis emergency situations, that, things are often in flux, and sometimes it takes a time or two for things to really, really settle down. So in the case of a gentleman I can remember who needed, some life-saving surgery and would have probably died had he not gotten it. Well, we were able to take care of his cat for a period of time, but, he had this recurring condition that required more medical attention in the future. So, we are sensitive to that, and we'll try the best that we can.
And I do know that you guys, you do adopt out as well. So what are the circumstances under which the animal becomes available for adoption, which equals, I guess, relinquishment by the pet owner?
It's a really great question, and it's not, we never want to think of relinquishing or rehoming your animal, but the unfortunate truth is that sometimes, because again we're dealing with some pretty significant situations, that is the best option, either because the health of the person is compromised or things have changed to the point where it makes the most sense. So we have a couple of different things that we do. First of all, we've introduced within the last year a rehoming site on our website. So if anyone in the community, if they run into a situation where they need to rehome their pet, they can, put the picture of their pet there with some information, and they can be in control of, who gets to ultimately, get that pet. We also work with other organizations that, have traditional sheltering programs. And so we know that if it happens that the owner is no longer able to care for that pet, then we can work with these organizations, these shelters, and have them kind of, put into their shelters or into other rescue programs.
And we are really proud to say that we have a 96% success rate So that's pretty huge, considering that we are able to rehome so many.
So when you say 96% success rate, that means the pet has either gone back to their owner, or it's been mutually agreed that relinquishment is and rehoming is the best route for the animal.
Absolutely. There are some situations, we have had some abandonments where they didn't show back up. And unfortunately, we've had a couple of people who actually have passed away. So that's kind of those pieces where we've been able to put it up that we can find another permanent home for them.
And you know, another thing I really love about what it is, the message behind what it is you do, is it's really easy to denigrate or villainize the people who relinquish their pets.
Yeah.
When in fact, the vast majority of the times when that occurs, it's not out of convenience or because the person is like, oh, the dog got too big, or whatever, the dog's other than I expected. It's because of crisis or situations like the ones addressed by your organization, and that the large majority is well-intended.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we have to get beyond the point where we judge people based off of, what our values are, what our present circumstances are. The reality is almost 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Let that sink in for a second, right? That means that if I were to lose my job, next month's rent is going to be really hard to come up with. And that impacts the entire family. And if you have a pet in that family, it affects your pet as well. So, we try not to be judgmental. We try to, in fact, give resources and empower owners to make the best decisions for themselves, because they're the ones that know their situation better than any of us.
And that is, it is such a crazy stat that everybody is two paychecks. Like the majority of Americans are 1 to 2 to 3 paychecks away from homelessness.
Yeah,
crazy.
Totally. And when you look at the numbers, since we started 2.5 years ago, we have reunions 640. That's a big number just in 2.5 years of being around, So that's
it's extraordinary. And those are the ones that went back.
Yeah.
And how many have been rehomed through your organization?
I don't think I have that number, actually. I don't have that number.
Well, still, I'm telling you, 600 and what'd you say?
640.
That's an extraordinary number of animals and families to help in 2 years period. So tell me a little bit about what's going on today at Ruff Haven. What's happening right now? What's like 2023 look like for you guys?
It's we had such a great 2022, and we are poised to have an even better 2023 at this point. I'd say the last quarter or so in 2022, the latest thing that we did is we entered in a partnership with DoorDash to provide free pet food, whether that's cat food or pet food, that would be delivered in DoorDash cars straight to someone's residence.
Really?
Why that is so powerful is because not only do sometimes people lack the funds to buy pet food, and we've come across so many stories where people would rather feed their pet first, right, than themselves, or forego the medicine that they need.
Insulin that they need.
Right.
Yes.
But we also realize that people oftentimes, transportation can be a barrier to people, right? Especially people who are older or maybe, are shut-ins. So this provides a solution not only to help with people's budgets, but to also help with overcoming the barrier of transportation. Right now, we have about over 100 orders a week that we're fulfilling through this DoorDash partnership.
My God.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, and then another thing, downtown there's a Wiegand Center. We actually have a food pantry there. So if people need food or even some essentials for their pet, they can go in there and they will give it to them. We fill that pantry every week. They can get that for free. And I think one of the big things that we need to mention is that we're a nonprofit, all volunteer-based organization. So everything we do is free. Everything we've told you is free. We have quarterly vaccination clinics, And last year we vaccinated 777 cats and dogs. That's just last year. And we do those every quarter. They're completely free. We'll give them vaccinations. We'll give them chips. We'll give them food. So we do that. We do wellness checks every month. We go out to the homeless encampments. We have a volunteer veterinarian, and we will make sure that we're checking their pets, making sure they're okay. Same thing, give vaccinations, food, whatever essentials that they need. So we really have all these little things we're doing monthly besides just our quarterly, and then besides just what we do day to day.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, again, you know how much I love you. I love that you fill niche needs in the world of animal welfare that there aren't a lot of organizations addressing. Food
Right.
and that's why we support. You don't have to just be a rescue for us to support you. If you're in the world of animal welfare and you're helping animals in some way, shape, or form, we're game to support you. Just like we're game to support you guys, we're game to support food banks, and we've supported food banks around the country for pet food. But I love also the creativity around your fulfillment of your mission, right? Like DoorDash, for God's sakes. Like, who would have thought of that?
Right.
But we have some pretty amazing volunteers. We can't take credit for a lot of the stuff that happens. We like to think that we're plugged into the needs of our community. And even though we may not have that lived experience ourselves, we rely on feedback and to really lend a listening ear to the people that we serve. And that helps to inform the kinds of programming that we can come up with.
Well, you can take credit of your leadership and your hearts. And your hearts are what speak to people. And that's why you have such amazing volunteers and such amazing support, because of your leadership and your hearts. So along those lines, let's talk about the fundraiser we're in the middle of. You guys, it's Thursday. It's 2-ish on Thursday. And we're in the middle of a week-long online fundraiser for Ruff Haven, where we donate $2.50 for every item sold on our website during the course of the week, and it ends at Sunday at midnight. So we got to get the word out, guys. We got to get the word out.
Yes.
We got to get people to buy coffee. We have coffee mugs, hats, stickers, T-shirts. We now have dog toys and dog bowls.
Yeah, we saw those.
Coffee. If you don't drink coffee, no problema. You go on the website and you buy something that we can help benefit Ruff Haven. When I write that check on Monday morning, my favorite day of the week. Now, let's just tell everybody, like, what, for example, if we did a great job this week and we raised like $300 to $500, what kind of impact would that have on Ruff Haven or on a program that you're focusing on?
I mean, at $500, we can make stretch quite a bit, yes. But it would mostly go to our medical fund, which is pretty inclusive of a lot of different things. First and foremost, as Stan mentioned, we have free quarterly vaccination clinics. So the money, that's part of the medical fund. But also when we take in animals, sometimes they have immediate medical needs that haven't been attended to. So we'll go ahead and take care of those. And another medical need that we have is spay and neuter. So it's a requirement for the pets in our program to be fixed. And if they're not, then Ruff Haven will go and get that surgery for free for the animals and for the family.
Yep.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right. So you guys, let's spread the word.
Yep.
Let's buy, sell, so that I can write a big old check on Monday morning to Ruff Haven to help offset their medical costs for all the amazing animals that you guys are helping every day, week, month, and year.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, Stan. Damn it.
And Claudia, we just want to say thank you so much. I mean, you not only support us, we know that you support so many organizations, and thank you.
Oh, listen, you met me and you've met Beth and myself. That's why we get up in the morning. For people like you and to help the animals. So thank you again for all that you do. And let's fingers crossed that we kill it this weekend and I can write you a big old check on Monday morning. And in the meantime, you two have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you. You too, Claudia. We love you.
We love you.
We love you too. Bye.
Bye.